My name is Kinsey. I'm your host. Thank you so much, TJ, for being the host on Friday, subbing in for me. You did an excellent job. You kind of sounded like a teacher reading off for a student, but he did incredible, my guy TJ. But we got some exciting news, you guys. We're going to have a studio pretty soon. The guys are working hard behind the scenes. So the HOA lockout's not going to last long. You're not going to get us guys off talking football. But we have such an exciting show today. But first, I got to introduce my boys. One of the most prolific figures in the history of sports media and the man who's never lost a debate, Skip Bayless.
Thank you, Kinsey.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, 5-time Pro Bowler, and 2-time All-Pro cornerback, Aqib Talib. Yeah. And 4-time Pro Bowler, and the man you want having your back at all times, Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
How are the boys feeling today?
Yeah, Kinsey, it's great to have you back. TJ was pretty good. He was like Tyler Huntley, but we didn't have our MVP in Kinsey. So before we get started, I got to introduce one cameo guest who just has to get one shot today. This is Hazel.
Oh, I'm excited to meet Hazel.
Hazel.
That's awesome.
And she watches every day, and she barks at Aqib. Everything he says, she just barks at him. She doesn't like him. So she just wanted to meet you.
Hazel ain't fucking with me or what?
She's
okay, there you go, Hazel. How you doing, Hazel?
She's my biggest fan.
Beautiful. She's beautiful.
Thank you. All right. That's enough for you. You're going to have to wait now. Okay.
We've heard a lot about Hazel that she is.
All right now, Hazel.
To Skip yell at the TV every single day. So you know what? She's an MVP.
Yeah. She is the MVP of this house. She's also the biggest star in this household, and she runs this household.
Oh. Well, today, you guys, we got an exciting show. We're going to break down a mock trade that could send Maxx Crosby to Dallas, which would be wild. And then we're going to discuss if the Chiefs want Travis Kelce back and should Jaxson Smith-Njigba be the highest paid receiver in football. But of course, as you guys, this episode is presented by Underdog. Underdog's available in most states, including Texas, California, and Florida. New customers get $75 in bonus entries when you play just $5 to get started. Just use code GRID when you sign up, and it'll load instantly. Make picks, win money with code GRID. So first, we got to talk about Skip's Cowboys, of course. So you guys spoke on Friday. I was watching the show about the Cowboys using the franchise tag for George Pickens, and Jones confirmed today that they're going to use that. But however, we all know that your Cowboys really need some defense. So Dan Grazzino from ESPN actually suggested this mock trade. Let me put it up on the screen because this is pretty wild. The Raiders would get Pickens and 2026 first round pick. So this would be the 20th overall. And then the Cowboys would get Crosby and then a second round pick, which would be the 36th overall. So this is pretty wild. I got to get your guys' opinion about this. I would like to add, though, because you love talking about Micah Parsons. There's a little bit of drama with Micah Parsons right now. Maxx Crosby only had 10 sacks this season, and Micah Parsons only played in 14 games, and he had 12 and a half sacks. So that's the man you lost, and this is the man maybe you're going to get. Would you do this deal?
Kinsey, if I thought this deal could happen, I would get in my car right now out here in Los Angeles. I would drive to Las Vegas. I would pick up Maxx Crosby, and I would chauffeur him all the way to Jerry World and present him to Jerry Jones. This is a no-brainer for me, and sometimes I think Jerry Jones has no football brain, so that could be the problem. But think about this. If I could trade Maxx Crosby, who is on a very team-friendly deal and locked up for the next 3 years at $30 million a year, which is $18 million a year less than Micah is getting from the Green Bay Packers at $48 million. If I could basically replace Micah with a $30 million Maxx Crosby, and he has his whole career averaged 10 sacks a year, and he's right there with Micah Parsons to me, and actually plays the run much better than Micah Parsons does. If I could get him for a George Pickens I just don't trust, who is about to command on the open market a possible 40 plus million, 42, 43, $45 million, he's going to get tagged by Jerry Jones, but Aqib and the Broncos, some teams are going to make a run at him, and the tag is for $28 million. So he on the tag will almost make what Maxx Crosby makes, and Maxx Crosby is a much more valuable all-around player, especially for my team that finished dead last in points allowed. That I would, again, it would be a thank you God deal for me, because George Pickens showed you what he was and what he wasn't. He led the league in yards per reception at 15.4. I said when we acquired him, he's the best deep ball receiver in football, but there was a reason that the great Mike Tomlin said no to George Pickens, said more trouble than worth to George Pickens, that we stole him for a third-round pick in Dallas because he's not to be trusted consistently. He's late for meetings. He missed the bus to the game on Monday night at Raiders, ironically. And in the game of the year for me, when I thought we had turned it around, we were about to go steal the division from the Eagles, the Thursday night game at Detroit, what happened? He just, for some reason, didn't show. I don't know. He's feeling a certain type of way every few Sundays that I can't explain. So do I trust him to play and not pout under the franchise tag? I don't. And Jerry's going to tag him for sure. And then would I trust him for the next 3 years to be making $42 million more than Jamar Chase? I just don't. So if you give me Maxx Crosby, I know Aqib's had some issues with Max, so I'm curious to see what Aqib's going to say next. But he's a gamer. He's a baller. He's a player and a playmaker for a bad Raiders team. And you put him in Dallas, I just think he would rise and shine. And I would say, thank you, God, we are off to the races and we are back in business. What do you think, Aqib?
Skip, I ain't had no problems with Maxx Crosby. I was just using him as an example, defending Parsons. That's all. But if I'm the Raiders, I'm just saying it wasn't no issue though. But if I'm the Raiders, hell no, I'm not trading Maxx Crosby. This is the face of the franchise, man. He is the best thing that I got on defense. Period, man. You never hear about him getting in trouble off the field.
No.
All you do is hear how hard he worked, how hard he played, right? So I just turned my D-line coach into the D coordinator for Maxx Crosby. You know what I'm saying? So why would I trade him away? I mean, I will get a good receiver. I will get the best deep ball threat, a top receiver, but I'm losing a great leader and a great all-around edge player. Every championship team needs one of those guys. So if I'm the Raiders, hell no, I'm not trading them. And if I'm the Cowboys, hell no, I'm not trading Pickens. No. Like, why would I trade Pickens, man? This offense is as explosive as it is because of Pickens and CD, the duo together. I mean, CD is still do his numbers. I know you always say CD did this without Pickens, but the offense not the same. This offense went from the 11th ranked passing offense to the 2nd ranked passing offense. This offense went from 27th in the run to 9th in the run. And you know why? Because they got too high shell, worried about these two receivers. You know what I'm saying? This is the 2nd ranked offense in the league. And a year ago, what was they, Skip?
Okay.
What was
All
they?
right. Okay. So Richie,
they wasn't second in the league.
Yeah. Okay.
They went from the 21st scoring offense to the 7th scoring offense. Like, why would I trade a guy who's that valuable to my offense? Now, Crosby would make us a better defense, but I'm spinning my wheels, Skip. I'm in the same spot. I lose my offense. Now I got a better defense. I'm in the same spot. You know what I'm saying? They on the right path, man. They on the right path. Franchise Pickens, restructure these guys, create that money, and build this defense.
Okay, but we went 7-9-1 with the 2nd best offense. And when I needed it most on Monday night games, one Monday night against Arizona, it scored, 10 points. And on a Sunday night game against Minnesota, it just got bullied by Brian Flores, got clowned. I don't know. I'm with you. Right. I don't understand why the Raiders would trade Maxx Crosby, but it's just rampant all over the internet that they're going to trade him. So, Richie, you know the Raiders. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I mean, that trade, I don't see a high likelihood of that going down, right? They're both trading away their top players, and the picks and all that factor in. I think this will be a very telling week with Maxx Crosby. His representation is meeting with the Raiders in Indy at the Combine. And I expect things to move quickly because it's either, hey, we're going to keep him, or hey, we're going to move him. You know, Max is a great guy. I was with him his rookie year through his third year, and really watched Max grow from a guy out of Eastern Michigan who was a fourth-round pick. He was scrawny, he was skinny, and then he developed into this really game record, premier pass rusher. He plays the run really well. You know, the sack numbers are down for him because you got to look who's playing around him. The Raiders roster has been a mess. And I think, you know, through Max's tenure, they've done nothing to improve the roster. The roster's gotten worse. They brought in head coach after head coach after general manager. You know, this is his fourth or fifth big rebuild. And I know them sitting him last year really rubbed him the wrong way. You know, he's a all effort guy. He is a hardworking guy. So for them to pull him out and them to have that much beef, there was definitely a valid point on Max's end. Like, hey, I've been through this BS for the last several years. At least let me finish the season. So this week will be telling. You know, I think there's a ton of interest. Dallas would love him. Detroit would love him. Buffalo would love him. All these top contenders would love to have Maxx. Do I think in my heart of hearts that Maxx leaves the Raiders? No, but I think that there's going to be some compelling offers out there that the team has to take a long, hard look at and say, hey, this is where we at. We need a ton of talent. We're most likely going to draft Fernando Mendoza. You know, do we get a receiver? Do we get another piece that will help us go? But again, moving on from Maxx, who is team leader, he's the heart and soul of that entire organization. I think it's going to be difficult. I hope they can mend the fences and get him back in the silver and black.
Okay. So, Aqib, I don't understand your position, your argument that both players are so important to each team, because clearly, to me, Maxx Crosby would be more important, more valuable to the Cowboys than George Pickens is, because I do have CeeDee Lamb. And if you opened up my salary cap, so I didn't have to worry about George Pickens, I can go get, I don't know, Romeo Doubs in free agency. He's a solid number 2, and he would be pretty good.
Romeo Doubs ain't picking.
Okay.
Romeo Doubs ain't gonna make teams play too high shells. Skip, you gotta understand what Pickens is doing for the Cowboys. If you go from the 21st scoring offense in the league to the 7th scoring offense, that's huge, Skip. That's huge. Now, if they had any type of defense, middle of the pack defense, they would have won 3 more games and been a 10-win team. Okay. Simple as that. Yeah. So, hey, they both are too valuable to their team to trade away. You got 2 first-round picks. Get Crosby for that. You can't let Pickens go. He just showed you what he does, him and CeeDee together. You know what I'm saying? It's a duo that's unmatched. You said it. Remember you sat on here and told me you don't think I can guard them 2 guys. You ain't seen a duo like this since Moss and Carter. And remember all that shit you were saying, Skip? Don't forget that shit. It was true. I sat here and listened to it. It was very true. My
team 7-9-1. What am I supposed to do with that?
Because the defense is shitty. Okay. It's because the defense is shitty. You clean up the defense with that offense, it's going to get you where you trying to go.
Aqib, you won a chip. You were in 2 chip games. You know what it feels like, tastes like, smells like. Yep. George Pickens doesn't smell like chip to me. He's got losing intangibles. He's the kind of guy that drags down a team that might be on the cusp of being pretty to very good. He puts up numbers. He's box office, which is why Jerry wouldn't want to trade him, because he values TV ratings over winning games. But in the end, George Pickens, you can't trust him to be a winning football player, to be a leader of your team. He makes some winning plays, but then you look at the end of the day and you say, we're 7-9-1. And I don't think the rest of the team loved it that he was constantly missing or late to meetings, because that's just who he is. That's why Mike Tomlin said no to him. if he were a solid citizen, I'd be saying, no, you got to go with him because you could make the case he's even better than CeeDee Lamb. But CD is a leader and a solid citizen and a baller and a playmaker. And I got that guy. I thought I had the best receiver in football going into opening Thursday night at Philadelphia last year. And what did CD do? He dropped 2 big balls in the fourth quarter that cost us the game. I don't know. Maybe CD would rise and shine a little more and be a clear-cut number 1 without George Pickens.
Akeem, can you name a good?
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't, Skip. He'd get all the double teams. He'd get all the double teams and it go right back to what they were before Pickens got there. And everybody on the team don't have to be a leader, Skip. You just need a handful of leaders. You need some goons. I'm telling you, Skip, as a guy in the locker room, if I got a guy who show up in the game and fucking dominates, hey, if he late to meetings and all that, it is what it is. We gonna make jokes about it and we gonna talk about him being fine. It ain't my problem. As long as he on this field balling, hey, I'm with him. I'm telling you, we gonna love it. Am I wrong, Richie?
No, I was just gonna back you up on that. Yeah, for sure. Like the way he's balling and the added dimension he brings to this offense. You're late for some meetings. You're doing your thing. There's a lot of stuff we can handle when you're out there balling like that. But yeah, it's really interesting because Dallas kind of has all the power here right now. They got the power of the franchise tag on them. They got CD under contract. He's making a hell of a lot of money, and they got to improve the defense. What does Jerry do once after free agency, after the draft? They have till July to get a deal done with Pickens, and Pickens is going to want close to $30 million, maybe north of $30 million. Like in the grand scheme of things, like
40 because Chase is 40.
Well, that's just not possible. That's just not possible with CD. Well, you can't allocate that much money because then again, you get 7-9-1. You have a terrible defense. There's a lot of holes to fill. So it's an interesting dynamic because, like Skip said, if he was an upstanding citizen and everything was going great and yada yada yada, Jerry would gladly hand him a check. Maybe not $40 million, but there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of things here where I don't think Jerry's really comfortable handing over that check yet. Got to see, hey, we put him on the tag. How does he react in the spring? Does he even show up? Like, what are we dealing with?
I'm curious by your opinion, Lee.
But that's what the franchise tag is for.
True, but
go ahead, Kenzie.
What playoff teams this season had a 1A and a 1B wide receiver? You tell me. Defense wins championships. Why do you need a top? Like these are both top 10. Maybe top 5 receivers in the league on one team. Name one playoff team this year.
The Rams did.
I wouldn't say Javonte Adams.
The Rams did. The Eagles did.
I think the big thing with Pickens too, it's like you don't have
Lamb.
Yeah, but you don't have
Super Bowl
another great
in the 1B.
You don't have another great wide receiver on a rookie contract. Like that's what the Rams got. Puka's on a rookie deal. You got Devontae, he's making okay money. But like that's the whole hitch in this giddy up is you got CD over there and he's one of the top paid guys. And I agree, you got to find a way to get them both under contract or both happy. But we got to see how Pickens approaches this franchise tag. I don't see him showing up in the spring. I don't see him showing up to camp unless he has a deal.
Agreed. I agree. So, Akeem, explain this to me.
Hey, that's what the tag is for.
Yeah. Okay.
But
he's not going to be happy with the tag.
I think that's the whole key to this is the tag is a powerful tool, but how is he going to react to all of this? Is it going to boil down to like a Micah and a Jerry situation where one thing goes down?
$30 million. I'm making $30 million and I'm right back at the table. I control my own. If I don't play good, I don't make $150 million. If I go ball again, now I get a contract on top of the $30 million I just got. The franchise tag is not the end of the world. It's just like, hey, we can't pay you right now. Can you play under this? All right, it is what it is. He loved Dallas. He loved the marketing that he's gonna get. Shoot your shot at winning with this team right here since you love it. And that's what he's gonna do, man. I'm telling you. If you want to get Crosby, it's other ways to get Crosby without giving away Pickens.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think the likelihood of this trade going down is highly unlikely. But it's going to be interesting to see how Pickens reacts to all this. It's going to be a long, drawn out thing. We saw how Micah and Jerry had a great relationship, and it deteriorated over a matter of weeks in training camp. next thing you know, now Mike is playing in Green Bay. I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. And I think absent a big deal, he's not showing up.
Okay, so Aqib, you have said from the start, you have to be at OTAs. Lamar wasn't at all the OTAs last year, missed 8 out of 9. And you said the football gods got even with him.
Right.
So Stephen Jones said yesterday at the combine that
that's the quarterback now. Skip. That's the quarterback.
Okay, that's a quarterback. All right, fair enough. But again, Stephen Jones said that he would fully expect George Pickens to be at all the offseason required days if he were franchise tagged. And so would I. And I think he would pout. I don't think he would love it. Your logic is correct. I don't think he would be listening to your logic, because he would say, I led the league in yards per reception, and you do this to me. You put this on, you hold me down because I deserve more money than Jamar Chase, who makes $40 million a year. And if you don't give it to me and you make me take 28, even though I can be back at the table in a year, I'm not thinking that way right now, because I'm going to lose $12-ish million this year that I earned last year. So that's a problem to me, because he's shown you he will pout. And again, you try to defend him for that Thursday night game at Detroit, but remember, Dallas had just beaten the previous year's 2 Super Bowl teams back to back in 4 days. Had as you recall, right, beaten Philadelphia on a Sunday, beaten on Thanksgiving Day the Chiefs, and then a week later on Thursday night it's at Detroit. And you can say what you want, but George Pickens just didn't show up. And there were 3 balls in that game that he didn't try very hard to catch.
Well, let me say this. Yeah. Well, let me say this about that Detroit game. You say George Pickens ain't show up, but George Pickens had all the doubles. And CeeDee Lamb was on pace for a record-setting day. He probably had 150 at halftime. He finna have 300 yards today. Why in the world would CeeDee Lamb ever have 300 yards, Skip? Only one way he can have 300 yards. If Pickens is on the other side, that's the only way he can do it. He was he was setting a record on the day before he went to sleep. So you explaining to yourself why you need Pickens. You explaining it because that way CD can have meaningful yards, not garbage time yards when we lose him by 30 and he gets 60 yards in the fourth quarter. That means nothing. You want him to have meaningful yards, meaningful touchdowns.
Okay. CeeDee Lamb in the 2 years before George Pickens showed up led the league in every stat category as a receiver. He was the best receiver in football for 2 years before that. Right. I saw it. I watched it. You can be okay with him if you have a lot of cap money and you can go. Remember, Ryan Flournoy came on as their third receiver, and he was really good at the end of the year. Made a bunch of big catches. Even in that Detroit game, he made some big catches. And if you go out and add, I don't know, Juwan Jennings from Kinsey's team or Ayuk from Kinsey's team, he's going to be on the market. Any of these guys, well, I know that's what you would say, but he was really good for a while, like a top receiver. Well, you can get those guys for like 12 to 15 million, and then you can spend and spend and spend to fix the defense. Again, Micah makes $48 million a year. It's like ridiculous money, and he's way overpaid. And Maxx Crosby, to me, at $30 million is underpaid. So, he just is, because he is a leader.
I'm not telling him not to try to go get Crosby. I'm not saying don't try to go get Crosby. If I'm the Raiders, I'm not trading. Okay. But I'm not saying don't go get Crosby if I'm the Cowboys. Try to go get him. But you franchise, you could create $100 million in cap space like this. You could do it today if you want to. You know what I'm saying? With three simple restructures, you can do it today if you wanted to. You still can. You got first round picks. You got ammo to go get Crosby. You still can go get him. If you get him a first round and a second round, you still got a first round. They'll probably give you Crosby for 1 and a 2 this year. 1 and a 2. They'll probably give you Crosby. Here, take him. You want to go? We'll take him. It's just better ways to do it to me.
But how are you ever going to make George Pickens happy if you don't pay him long-term Jamar Chase money? How? Yeah. I don't see it.
I think that's the whole key to this. I think that's the whole key. I think it's the whole key to this because Pickens has every right to get paid, right? He put it together. They balled out. You know, Dak and the offense looked the best in Dak's career.
Yeah.
And he's got a great case to get paid. But there's all the other little stuff. There's all the other little stuff to factor in. Now we got to see how he handles the franchise tag because you don't sign the franchise tag. You don't have to show up in the spring. You don't even have to show up till camp. You don't have to show up till the season. So let's see how he handles that and how it goes going forward. I think, Skip, the big thing, like I agree with you in that Detroit game. There were just some little things about Pickens that it looked like he was checked out. Now, I think he was getting double dog games, CDs going off, but there was that late play down the sideline where Dak threw it to the hash and he didn't even adjust to the ball. He didn't even move to the ball. So that was like the first thing. Like me and Akeem said, we can put up with a bunch of stuff. You're late, you're out drinking in Vegas. That's all good. Just come ball out. But that to me in Detroit, like that showed me like, all right, this is kind of leaking over to on-field performance.
Exactly. Yeah. This
it's leaking over to on-field performance. He had 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns.
Well, listen, I don't see this trade happening, but it was really fun to talk about. But really, I don't see it happening. But I do maybe see Pickens pouting. But it's hard not to pout when you're giving up $12 million, right? Like he wants to get paid. He deserves to get paid. So we'll see what happens there. I do want to move on.
But that's the thing, though, Kenzie. Real quick before you move on, Kenzie. We're talking about Jerry Jones. Jerry can get you $12 million from Ford like this. You know what I'm saying? He can get you $12 million he can get you that off the field. Don't even worry about that. Look, I can get you this off the field. He get guys deals off the field in Dallas all the time. Just let Jerry cook. Just let Jerry cook.
Cap circumvention, right? You can't do that. You can't go get guys money that wouldn't count against the cap.
Yeah. Hey, the money is green, Skip.
Skip, wasn't that
the money is green? He don't care. He don't care if it come from the Cowboys.
Yes, Richie is correct. Yes.
Yes. All right, let's talk about someone else who we're not sure about right now because we don't know if he's coming back next year, but let's talk about Travis Kelce, okay? Because he hasn't made a commitment for 2026, but Andy Reid did say this. I'm going to quote him. No, there is communication, though, and that's the main thing. I've said this before. As long as there's communication, I'm good. That means people want to move forward. I think that's where Trav is. I'm not putting words in his mouth at all, and I try to give him some space here. But it's looking like Andy Reid is salivating about the potential of Travis Kelce coming back to the Chiefs. I also don't think Travis Kelce is going to retire. I don't see him just thrown in the towel just yet. I will say, though, he's had 2 down years. But putting it in perspective, down years for Travis Kelce, he still was a top 10 tight end. Okay, so Richie, should Andy Reid want Kelce back?
I think so. I think one more year, run it back. You know, he's been through there. Travis has been through with Kansas City through all their success, all the Super Bowl runs, the Super Bowl championships. I think he's a leader on that team, and I really think he's Mahomes' safety valve. You know, when they're really running and gunning and playing well, Mahomes is finding them sitting down in those zones. They have a great relationship. I think bringing Kelce back also impacts the young guys. They got a couple guys in the mix, a couple young tight ends that are going to eventually replace him. Why not bring Travis back, team leader, voice of the team, you know, heartbeat of the team, teach these young guys, and let's see if we can get one more year out of them.
Skip.
What do you think, Keeb?
Or Keeb?
No, I'm with you, Richie. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? Travis wasn't the problem this year. He may not be 1,000 yards and a 10 touchdown guy, but 850 yards, 5 touchdowns. I can take that from Travis. Now, they was missing all their receivers all year at different times. Rice gone, then Hollywood gone, then they never had their full group. So that was the problem, in my opinion, with the Chiefs offense. They didn't have their guys outside. So like Richie said, man, he a leader on the team. Pat loves when he's there because they on the same page like twins, Skip. They think alike. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in this zone, he know what he's gonna do. If you're in man, you overrun something, he know what he's gonna do. So they just work well together. I know Andy Reid and Pat would love for him to be there. Is he gonna be there? That's gonna be on him, man. That's gonna be on him. He's a little older. We don't even know if he want to do it anymore. Do he want to put himself through this offseason again? And I guess that question to answer itself. But if I was Andy, I would be on his line, texting him every other day, trying to get him to come back.
I wouldn't be, but this is just me. And yet, Aqib, to your point about twins, I've said 1,000 times on the air, there's never been a greater connection between a quarterback and a receiver than between Mahomes and Travis Kelce. In their heyday, at their greatest, it wasn't that Kansas City had Batman and Robin. They had Batman and Batman, because I've never seen a receiver, let alone just a tight end, uncover the way Travis Kelce could backyard uncover on the same wavelength with Mahomes, where they could just make it up on the fly in their heads, where they're just seeing and feeling exactly on the same wavelength what's happening. And there's the hole in the zone, and Kelce's going to find it, and Mahomes is going to find him finding it. And I give you that. But the Travis Kelce I watched this past year was just getting up there in age and was a little over the hill to me. And he would play at 37 next year. And I just remind everybody, they went 6-11 this year with Travis Kelce playing all 17. That they lost 6 straight and 8 of their last 9 with Travis Kelce on the field. Obviously, Mahomes didn't play the last 3. Mahomes was 6 and 8 as the starting quarterback. And so I look at the fact that Travis Kelce led this team this past season in just about every receiving category: targets, catches, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, receiving first downs. He led in all those categories. That's the bad news to me, because you were 6-11. And it just seems like that Andy Reid's trying to hang on to something that's fading away. So now they're going to bring back Eric Bieniemy, blast from the past. From 2018 to 2022, they were really good. They won 2 Super Bowls with Eric Bieniemy as the quote-unquote offensive coordinator. Obviously, Andy called all the plays. But then Eric Bieniemy tried to get a fresh start. He went to Washington, and he lasted a year. And then he went to UCLA as their coordinator, and he lasted a year. And then he was with Ben Johnson last year as the running backs coach, and he was really good because their running game was really good. And all of a sudden, Andy's reaching back into the past again. Past. Well, it's past tense to me. I don't know. They've got the 9th pick in the draft, and Mel Kiper has them picking Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, who's obviously, he's got superstar ability and potential. So it seems like if you have a fresh start with Jeremiah Love and you hope Mahomes at 31 can rehab, he's not going to be able to move the way that he used to move, because he was last year he was running more than he's ever run before. And as Keeb always says, running quarterbacks, they get running stuff happen to them. And he finally did near the end of the year. But I just don't. I'm just shocked that Andy Reid's like salivating to get Travis Kelce back. I don't get it, unless they need Taylor Swift up in the box for ratings. I don't know.
Jerry Jones, Travis Kelce sells tickets.
He does. Well, there you go. Is that
Yeah, they need that.
And jersey sales and all the things. He brings money into that organization.
Oh, does he? No, I get that. But does he bring wins? I don't know. I don't think so.
It's not like Kelce was the reason that they only won 6 games, though, Skip. You say he did all this and they only won 6 games. It's not like it was Kelce's fault. He did what he had to do. He played all the games, right? At 36 years old, he had 850 yards, 5 touchdowns. He did what he had to do. So he still demands attention. It was times when they played the Broncos, when they went slot, they left Pat Surtain on that side to guard him.
Yeah.
Like, this is our best corner, and we leave him to guard Kelce. He demands attention. If you still demand attention in that way, you're still productive in my eyes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the problems lie outside Travis Kelce with Kansas City's offense. You take a look at the offensive line. Offensive line was banged up last year. Their rookie left tackle Simmons, he had to step away for a couple weeks. They lost Joe Thuney in free agency to Chicago. Creed and Trey Smith are probably the best interior duo in the league. And then you have Juwan Taylor on the outside. He's the most penalized guy. He's going to line up off sides. He's going to jump off sides. And what they weren't able to do this year was they weren't able to run the ball. They weren't able to protect Mahomes. That's why he was running for his life. And then you look on the outside, you had Reishi out the first couple games of the season. Looks like he's going to be out multiple games next season. Worthy came back and opened up the offense a little bit, but the one constant on offense was Kelce. That is Mahomes' security blanket. Like you said, Skip, they have the best connection ever. In that 13-second debacle for the Buffalo Bills, they literally just threw it to Kelce twice. He said, hey, they're going to drop back into this. You're going to be there. I'm going to get it. So as I look at it, Andy Reid's got a lot of holes to fill on that roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So bring back, Mahomes' security blanket and give it another run. At least get one more year out of him.
Richie, you really good points. If it was up to you, Richie, what would you do first in the offseason if you're Kansas City to get them back in the playoffs? You said they have a lot of areas for improvement. What would you do first?
Well, as an offensive lineman, you got to figure out the offensive line. They spent multiple picks on tackles, a bunch of guys, Kingsley Suamata, Wanya Morris, guys that they use early draft capital on, second, third round picks. They seem to have hit on Simmons, but Simmons had some off the field issues he had to go deal with. He's been away from the team. He was away from the team, I think, 4 or 5 weeks after locking down that starting job. So you got to figure out who your guys are up front. I've read that they're going to move on from Juwan Taylor. They're paying him a ton of money, a lot of penalties, not great in pass protection at times. So yeah, you got to address. You got Creed Humphrey, you got Trey. You may have something in Simmons, but you still need a left guard. You still need a right tackle. So again, what are they going to do? Go into the draft some guy, develop them. I don't see him spending big money in free agency on this offensive line class. It's not great. Outside Tyler Linderbaum and Jermaine Illuminor, there's not a lot of household names. There's not a lot of guys that have been playing at a high level that will command the $25-30 million per year. But yeah, you build it from the inside out, and then you got to get help on the outside. You got to get help. Reishi's probably going to be suspended. Worthy is really just kind of a speedster. He opens up the offense quite a bit, but you need those other guys to work the underneath stuff.
Mm-hmm. All I know is the Travis Kelce I watched last year looked like he had lost a step that he couldn't afford to lose. And I don't know, Keeb, you really think he's the threat that he used to be? Because I don't see that.
Well, I mean, if he used to get 1,000 yards a season and 10 touchdowns, and this past season he got 850 yards, I'm saying that's 150 yards less and 5 touchdowns. He usually score about 8 or 9 touchdowns. I say 10, but it's usually like 8 or 9. He's not that far off, Skip. That's like you said, it's one step down, but yeah. If Pat need him. It's key situations, third down, red zone, where he really show up. And that's where Pat need him to show up. So if you do like Richie said, you get your O-line right. If Rasheed in there, Worthy is in there, you draft Love, he in the backfield, Bieniemy come in, he bring a little bit of what he learned in Chicago about that run game, get this run game going, man, they'll be just fine. So they got a young tight end who they can lean on a little bit when they go 12 personnel. But lost a step or not, he still know how to run routes. He still know how to get open. He still know how to get in the end zone. So I will lean back.
You're going to have to pay him $20 million. He got 17 last year, and I don't think he's going to come back for another year and give you a hometown discount. And like just hypothetically, like Dallas Goedert is on the market right now, and he is 6 years younger than Travis Kelce, and he had a big year last year for the Eagles, and I know they faded at the end, but he caught 11 touchdown passes. He was really the best thing about the offense last year, and he's a gamer, man. He makes big catches in big games. Hypothetically, theoretically, if you went, you could get Dallas Goedert probably at $15 million, and you would have a better functioning tight end without the connection to Mahomes. But he's had connections to Jalen. I can tell you that where he'd be worth every penny of $15 million to me.
And you don't think Travis Kelce would take that? I feel like he has enough revenue streams everywhere else. He just wants to play. I think at some point he's got to be like, I'm 37 years old. I'm not worth $3 million. I'll take 15, come back for the Chiefs one last year.
I think he'd take less. I think he'd take less to be back with Mahomes and Andy Reid because he's there's probably not a huge market out there for him, but I mean, he could find somewhere else, but no one's going to give him $17 to $20 million. I think he comes back. I mean, if we look at last year, 76 catches, 851 yards, 5 TDs. If he does that in year 37, they get the run game going, they get the outside going. I mean, that's a huge contribution. I think with Bieniemy coming back, they will get the run game going. The one thing that hurt him last year, not only the offensive line, but they were trying to run everything out of the shotgun. Andy Reid was kind of experimenting, getting Mahomes back in the gun, spreading things out with the speed on the outside. They didn't have the speed on the outside at times this year, and the run game really suffered. So with Bieniemy coming back, I think it's really going to impact that run game. And bring him back. I think he would take less because, like Kinsey said, he's got a million other streams of income coming in. He's dating a billionaire, so get it done for 15 to 17 million and get him back.
He does one Pfizer commercial for 15 million. He's good.
Okay. Well, he's about to have the ultimate revenue stream, right? When he gets married. And what's Akib always say about a player's pride? You're going to pay me pennies when I led you in every receiving category. I just think he's going to say, hey, I'm worth 20 million and I'm not coming back for a penny less. And I think Andy Reid would give him whatever he asked for, because Andy is like, he's Andy's security blanket too.
But then what is he going to go? If he really wants to play ball, is he going to?
But it's not. It won't be about the.
Going to pay him that?
Exactly. It won't be about the cash with Travis. If he did decide to come back, it won't be about the cash with him. He coming back because he don't want to end with them 6 wins. I'm coming back to let's shoot this shot one more time. Let's try to win one more, and whatever I can do to contribute to the win, probably bringing your number down from 20 to about 12 to 14. Then let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that. Get me down to about 12 or 14 this last year. Get our O-line right, man. He gonna be with it, man. He a good team player. That's another reason you bringing him back, because he's the leader on the team. He understands how to win. He's been around since Alex Smith was in the playoffs with them guys. So he knows what it takes to win, and he won't be selfish in that regard.
Yeah, I think he takes less because they got to build the team. They got to get help. They got a ton of spots. We haven't even talked about the defense. They need some pass rushers and some big defensive linemen over there. So I see him coming back, taking less, because he doesn't want to go out like this. He's got all the fame, all the fortune, everybody looking at him now. He's got a huge platform with his podcast. Obviously, everybody knows his girlfriend. I think he wants to go out on a high note, not only a winning season, but, go out there and ball out and say, all right, I had a couple of years where I fell off, but look, I came back. I'm a stud. Now I'm going into retirement.
Yeah, I agree with Richie and Akib. I don't think he wants to end on that. I don't think it's about the money at all. And I do think Kansas City has a lot bigger issues to worry about right now than their tight end getting 150 yards. I'd be happy with that. 5 touchdowns, 150 yards for my tight end. Obviously, you're right. If he wants 20 million, it's not going to work. For 15 million, I'll take that.
Wait a second. Akib, it sounds like, are you picking Kansas City to win the West next year? Right?
Of course not.
Well, you just made
of course not.
It sounds like if they get Kelce back, and Keith's going to pick the Chiefs to win the West.
No.
Hey, don't let us get Pickens. Is really over for everybody.
You can have
know that.
Man, I'm hoping he goes to Buffalo. Buffalo and Josh Allen and Pickens, man.
Yeah.
We coming for him. We coming to get him.
Yeah, he'll demand $50 million a year from you guys. You can pay him, and watch him miss all your meetings.
We got it. We got it for him.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on. I
like Pickens. It's all good.
I would like to see that
on Zoom.
But all right, let's talk about the tush push, because I feel like everybody was talking about it, and apparently they're not talking about it this year, because the NFL Competition Committee co-chairman Rich McKay said Sunday that he is not anticipating an attempt to ban the tush push this year. So it was close to being banned last year. But so speaking of the tush push, obviously we know the Eagles are the team that are always riding with it. The Eagles were way less successful this year. They converted only 68% of their tush pushes, which was down 81% from 2024. So they were tush push masters. Now people know it's coming. They're not able to convert as much. So has the tush push been figured out?
Hell no, not at all. I mean, you go from converting every time you do it to now you convert 7 out of 10 times. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? If you do something enough, it's not going to be as successful. But I mean, you look at the Bills. I seen Josh Allen in the playoff game versus the Broncos. Tush push his way to about 4 or 5 first downs, man. The Eagles, they still successful at it, but now they creating plays off of it. Saquon Barkley had a 60-yard, whatever it was, 70-yard touchdown off a fake tush push, man. You see the Steelers putting tight ends at quarterback to do it. Same with the Ravens. You see Andrews fake the tush push, spin out, have him a 35-yard touchdown. So, man, it's a great short yardage play. More teams is learning how to do it. They practicing it just like the Eagles did, and it's hard to stop. So, hey, you don't see nobody getting hurt off the tush push. Who has gotten a major injury off the tush push? Nobody. So why would we ban it? It's a regular football play. So I'm with it, man. I it's part of the game. People are getting creative with it now. So hey, short yardage, you better have a tush push in your playbook.
No doubt. No, I love it too. It's on the big boys up front. This is what we lift all those weights for all offseason. Put it on us. Let's get those yards.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles came out running it, and the way they were teaching it with Stoutland and stuff like that, it was almost like a rugby scrum, and nobody could figure out how to do it. The Eagles were operating at such a high level. Now you have the Buffalo Bills. They were the ones that proposed the rule change, and look at them. They're one of the best teams in the league at doing it. So I think it's one of those things where it was the Eagles were doing it.
Yep.
Nobody could teach it. Nobody could figure it out. Nobody could figure out how to stop it. Now you have all these teams that have all offseason to watch film and figure out how to teach their guys how to convert it. And Buffalo in 2024 was actually better than the Eagles at performing the tush push. Buffalo was 94%. Eagles were 82%. But if you remember in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City, they knew what was coming. They knew the tush push was coming. They knew Josh Allen was going left. They lined up Chris Jones over there, and they blew it up. So it's one of those things where you either got it or you don't. And it really comes down to, it's not an automatic play. You are not automatically going to get 1 yard like you would 2 or 3 years ago. I don't want to see it go out of the game. The competition committee says it's going to stay. There's no proposals. And that's the way it should be. This is old school smash mouth football. You line up your guys versus my guys, and let's see who's going to win.
Yeah. I agree with both of you.
Love it.
I've always said, just stop it. Just figure it out. It's just man on man. If they're bigger, faster, stronger than you or smarter than you, that's on you. You just got to figure out how to stymie it. How do you stonewall it? And I thought, especially the last 5 or 6 games of the year, Philly was starting to have a hard time with it. It didn't feel automatic to me anymore because this league is really good at figuring something out. It just takes a while, but they were figuring out how to get underneath Jalen Hurts a little bit and stand him up. And the point about the Eagles and the Bills is that those two quarterbacks are really, really gifted at what they do. Because to me, Jalen Hurts has got fullback legs. He's got strongest legs in the weight room legs. And when you have that kind of strength, and Akeem disagreed with me on this, that there are times when they were unstoppable when he didn't even need the push. He didn't need he just getting it on his own. And that's just how great Jalen Hurts is at doing something that nobody else could really do. Josh Allen's pretty great at it too, because he's like 6'5", 250 or whatever he is, and strong. And so they just have advantages. And then everybody else, as Akeem pointed out, they started to figure out, like Seattle and Pittsburgh started using the tight end. Okay, well, okay, good, way to go. I love to watch this league figure each other out because it does so at the highest level. As Akeem has always said about defense, it's a beautiful game to watch where football becomes chess at the highest level. And there's a way to win the chess match against the tush push. And I think that over time, it'll still be very successful, but it won't be automatic. So I didn't love it that they were just automatic with it, but I'm glad now the Packers really went after it last year and lost, and now everybody ceased and desisted and just sat back and said, okay, we give up. We'll just have to figure out how to stop it.
Yeah. Well, the Eagles were the gold standard. They invented that. Stoutland and the boys invented that. They had Kelce up front. They were able to get it. This year, you know, I was with my boy Lane Johnson at the Super Bowl, and he was telling me all the injuries that the guys had up front. Like Landon Dickerson, he was banged up. He was dealing with multiple injuries since training camp. And those are the guys, those big bodies. Those are the guys you're relying on up front. Cam Jurgens, bad back injury, really hurting all year long. Lane Johnson in and out of the lineup. So, you know, they were the gold standard, and then you change out a couple pieces, you get some guys banged up, and it's not automatic anymore. It's one of those things where
Richie, are you saying that they got hurt tush pushing?
No, I'm not saying they got hurt tush pushing, but they didn't have as much success last year because they were all banged up front. They were all they couldn't run the ball. Like Saquon took a year back, took a step back, and there was a myriad of issues that was going on. But those guys up front banged up. It's not automatic anymore. You don't just line up and run it because you're bigger, faster, stronger. There's a technique to do it. There's a technique to stop it, and it's a staple play in the NFL.
Yeah, agreed.
So all the guys were agreeing. You're going to keep the tush push. You guys are fine with it.
Yeah, well, Akeem's fine with it because he doesn't have to
keep the tush push,
right?
Yeah. Well, even teams getting creative.
Exactly.
Even teams getting creative like Pittsburgh and guys that are, you know, they're giving Hayward the snap and stuff like that. There's been a lot of miscues. There's been a lot of fumbled snaps. There's been a lot of balls on the ground. There's been a lot of, you know, there's everybody trying to put their own taste on it and their own version on it. And, you know, we've seen some work and we've seen some not be so successful.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get back to Skip's Cowboys because there isn't people on right now, but it's an exciting time because some guys are getting paid. And you know who got paid really quickly by Jerry Jones was Javonte Williams, which I was kind of shocked at how fast he was signed because they apparently did not want him to hit free agency. So he got $24 million over a 3-year deal. So Skip, were you surprised at how fast they signed Javonte Williams?
Kinsey, I'm with you. I was shocked. I mean, like double shocked.
To see on my phone, I was like,
"What just happened?" I was pleasantly shocked because for once, Jerry Jones actually was ahead of the curve. I don't know, but I couldn't believe that Javonte would just cave in and say, "Okay, I'll take $24 million for 3 years. That's $8 million a year with only 16 of that guaranteed." And he had not a good year. He had a great year, maybe by his standards, but 1,201 yards. It was 9th most in the NFL. And it was a revelation for my Cowboys because I didn't see it coming. And if I take his stats and I put him up against the 1 and 2 backs on the free agent market, we got Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall. Actually, Javonte had the best year, and it was career high 1,201 yards, but Kenneth Walker had a career high 1,027 yards, and Breece Hall last year had a career high 1,065 yards. So they were slightly under Javonte's year, but they're the ones who are the candidates to get the big money because the franchise tag for running back is 14.5. I said on Friday's show that I thought if Javonte hit the open market, he could get 10 million, and he took 8. Then again, the tag is 14.5, and most people think that Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall will get 15-ish. Well, what? I'm like, thank you, God. Something great finally happened to the Dallas Cowboys that we actually got a very team-friendly deal for a running back who is he's the opposite of George Pickens. He is a model citizen. He is first in, last out. He's first into every meeting. He runs his butt off every play and works his butt off in every practice play. They say he's just like a godsend to have around as a leader, as a worker, just as a good teammate. Dak loves him. Everybody loved him. And I guess he just loves being a Cowboy. So he said, I'll just go ahead. I won't even hit the open market. But I know Breece Hall catches the ball a lot better than Javonte does, but that's okay. If we're just talking about running the football, when I look at Kenneth Walker, I know he finished strong, but he had 2 games where he went over 100 yards during the regular season. This is Kenneth Walker, the MVP of the Super Bowl. And one of those games was that overtime game on the Thursday night against the Rams, and he had 100 yards rushing, right at 100, and caught 64 yards worth. And if I look at Kenneth Walker from week 3 through week 15, when everybody was saying Seattle can't run the ball, he averaged 55 yards a game. And then against Kinsey's Niners, that last regular season game, he got 97. And then against Kinsey's Niners in the first playoff game, he got 116. And then against the Rams in the NFC game, he got 62 but caught 49. And then obviously he had the game of the year for a running back in the Super Bowl and had 135 yards and was the MVP. Well, he just came on late, and all of a sudden he's the belle of the ball. And a lot of people think he's going to get the most money in free agency. Well, I'll take Javonte right there with those guys, with Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker. And we stole him for $8 million a year, 16 guaranteed. And again, I thought Miles Sanders was going to be our guy going into the year, and he got hurt, and he's going to be a free agent. But the running back market, free agent wise, is flooded with all kinds of backs, but they're all just pretty goods. There are tons. I'll read them in a minute, but there are just tons of pretty good guys on the market. But I think Javonte proved to be very good for the Dallas Cowboys. And I know Keeb will probably say, well, he was just a product of those 2 receivers and that quarterback throwing the football. But man, he ran hard.
It helps.
Running hard. So thank you.
Having two high safeties, that definitely helps.
Okay. All right.
I'm telling you, that definitely helps, Skip. So like you said, it's a bunch of running backs in the market. So therefore, usually when it's set up like that, that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? The number is low. If I got a bunch of guys to choose from, that just brings the number down. So Javonte don't want to deal with that. He had a great season with the Cowboys, man. This was a top 10 rushing offense, the number 2 offense in the league. He know the Cowboys love him. He love the Cowboys. Let me not even get involved in that stuff, because it's not going to be as good as these running backs think it is, because it's oversaturated market. So if they want to give me 8, that's a fucking excellent number for him, and it's an excellent number for the Cowboys. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can give him 8 a year. He good with that. We good with that. I don't see nothing wrong with it. I did think that I would see some restructured contracts from Dallas before this signing, because they don't have no money. But I guess they just, they playing with houses money. They go and create the money to give them, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that surprised me, that we didn't see restructures before they signed him. But it don't surprise me that he stayed his butt right in Dallas, signed early. He don't want to deal with that free agency stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a home run. This is a no-brainer. At 3 years, $24 million, 8 per year for a feature back like that. And he was explosive last year. He brought a different tempo to the offense. He got downhill. He got some good runs. They got a good thing going with some young guys up front in the offensive line. And this is just a piece of the offense that they got under contract. The running back market is oversaturated. I've seen the running back numbers come down year over year over year. Josh Jacobs left the Raiders for $10.5 million. For a guy like Josh Jacobs and the value he brings, he can not only run the ball, but he can catch the ball and he can pass protect. Now you're looking at this free agent group of running backs. And to me, I don't even think Kenneth Walker is number 1. I think Breece Hall is the number 1 running back in this running back class. Because if you look at Kenneth Walker, the reason why his numbers are down was they were trying to work Zach Charbonnet in the mix.
They did.
The scouting report on Kenneth Walker is he's not great catching out of the backfield, and he's not great in pass protection. So he's not going to be an every down back. They were trying to get Charbonnet in there, and they had a good 1-2 punch until Charbonnet went down. But it was looking at the beginning of the season like it was going to be running back by committee in Seattle. So we'll see where Walker ends up. But for Javonte Williams, staying home. He's finally found a home. He's bounced around a little bit. And this is a great number for the Dallas Cowboys. $8 million per year, 16 guaranteed. That's a team-friendly deal, and you lock down one of your guys.
To Richie's point, in the Super Bowl, remember, on third downs, Seattle was often using that George Pickens to come in as their third down back. So they're not even saying Kenneth Walker's a 3-down back and he was a Super Bowl MVP, and a lot of people think he should get the most money. I'm with you on Breece Hall just because he catches it as well as he runs it. Yeah. But if you look down this flooded market list, you got Rachaad White from Tampa Bay, and then Travis Etienne, Rico Dowdle's back on the market, who had 3 great games and a bunch of no games. And then some of the other backs on the market, Tyler Algier, J.K. Dobbins from Denver, Kenneth Gainwell, who I thought had a really nice year in Pittsburgh. James Conner and Aaron Jones might get cut and be on the market. Wow. Austin Eckler, Najee Harris, who Akib and I saw on a flight up to the Super Bowl, is on the market. And Isaiah Pacheco is on the market from Kansas City. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Raheem Mostert. We can just go on. Wow. I threw out Miles Sanders is going to be on the market. So it's flooded. I got it. But Javonte Williams showed pretty special stuff last year. I mean, 1,200 yards is still 1,200 yards to me. And he was getting a lot of hard yards where I thought he had 2 yards and he got 5. That's what he brought. He brought a toughness and a physicality to the offense that we did not have before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy reading off all those running back names. I mean, that is a deep running back class.
Guys crazy. Now these guys we had guys who guide us through this stuff, Skip. Like I remember when I was a free agent, I had a chance to touch the market for the first time. And it was just like this running back class, hella DBs, free agents, right? And my agent was telling me like, hey, they're going to fuck the DBs this year. They're going to fuck them, bro. You might want to, let's just take this deal. And I'm like, man, hell no, Taha. Like, we need to go to the market. I ain't listen to him. I end up signing a 1-year, $5 million deal and having to do it again. Like, well, you might as well wait. Let all these guys sign this 1-year deal and go do it again. Then I end up getting my money the next year. But same with these running backs. It's so many of them. All of them going to get crumbed. They're going to all get little bitty contracts because I could take Miles Sanders. I could take Etienne. All y'all is pretty good. All y'all is, right in the middle of the pack. Y'all all like right there. Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall might be up here, but them going to be the 2 guys who get 12 to 14. Everybody else going to be right in this middle of the pack. You're going to see a bunch of running backs signing 1-year deals for $6 million and 1-year, $5 million deals. That's just how it go. Javonte had good guidance, and he told him, bro, you don't want to hit this market. If the Cowboys trying to give us this right now, we need to take this right now. That is a great deal for this offseason, for this free agency. So good guidance, man. That's a great decision by Javonte.
Yeah, okay. That's a great decision.
All right. How do you know that if you hit the market, one team won't just go crazy that you can't predict and give you $15 million? How do you know that?
I think that's the running back market. They're reading the tea leaves, and like I keep going back to Josh Jacobs because I played with him, but like for the last couple of years, those salary numbers are coming down. The cap number has come down. And I mean, these guys are playing for, you have premier running backs playing for $8, $9, $10 million, right? And so my thing is, you ask, why wouldn't team pony up $15 million? And I think a lot of teams are thinking we need more than one running back. We need more than one starting running back. It's running back by committee. We have to have at least 2 starters. We're in the age of the NFL where injuries are wiping guys out. We're down to 3rd, 4th, 5th string guys coming off the street and toting the rock. So I think, and especially with that many guys, you went down the list. I mean, Dowdle, he's a stud. Yeah. He's going to get paid somewhere. Hopefully, we'll see. But like you said, Gainwell is a guy, like if you have a number 1 running back and you want to bring in a guy that catches well out of the backfield, Gainwell is your guy. So yeah, there's a lot of options. It's crazy that this running back class is so deep. And we've just been seeing the contracts coming out the last couple of years. That running back number has been getting lower and lower.
Yeah. So, Akib, are you just a little raw that you're Broncos?
And
what's that? Yeah. You there?
Oh, I was just going to say, by your agents, Skip, these agents are plugged in with certain GMs and That's they plugs. They don't really care about no head coaches. These agents, they lock in with 8 to 10 GMs, so they know the numbers that's going to get floated around. You know what I'm saying? That's their job, and they relay the message to the players. So that's how you know right there. They telling them, like, bro, this is one of them. Every year, Skip, you look at every position, every year in free agency is one position who just gets screwed. And they're like, well, we're not paying them over this amount of money, and that's just what it is. I guarantee you this year that position is the running backs because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So many of them. Like I said before, my first year in the market, it was the cornerbacks. All of us signed $5 million, bro. Like we all bought, but they didn't give us more than $5 million because there was so many of us. So it'd be the running backs year. But what you was gonna say about the Bronco? You had a Bronco joke for me, Skip. Go ahead.
I did, because I think you're just a little raw that your Broncos didn't hang on to Javonte Williams when they should have. You might have won the Super Bowl with Javonte Williams running that hard, right?
I mean, you could have used him.
He wasn't. He hit a different wave when he left. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need a new scenery, and then it crank you up a little bit. But he was a good runner. He showed that tough style of running for us, but it just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. Dobbins was more productive in our offense than Javonte was. So we don't miss him, Skip. You know what I'm saying? We freed him. We let him off the leash, baby. We ain't worried about it.
All right. And my last comment on this is, you keep talking about that year when there were so many good cornerbacks on the market and you could only get $5 million. And to me, there was only one Aqib Talib. Like somebody should have been smart enough to say, right, I want him for $10 million, right? Because you're going to make a difference that all those other good corners can't make.
Skip, I do agree with one point you made.
Because I'm telling you, Skip, it's a club. It's a club, Skip. I told you about them little emails they send around. Nobody don't see them but the owners. It's a club, man. Once they put that number, all right, look, it's this many guys at this position, man. We can't pay them higher than this. Everybody good, good. I'm telling you, they be in cahoots with it, so they can't break it. They can't break the agreement that they make. I'm telling you.
Okay, well, for once, Jerry Jones made a great deal. Good for Jerry, right?
Good for Jerry. I'm also interested how much Kenneth Walker is going to get, because throughout the season, and obviously congratulations to Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, but throughout the season I had him on my fantasy. I was very unimpressed. And obviously, and then now he catapulted himself to the, he might get the highest paid contract out of this running back class. Yeah. That's interesting to me. Do I think that's deserved? So I'm curious to see what happens with him.
Yeah.
But
but that was strategic though, Kenzie. That was strategic. They didn't want to kill him out at the beginning of the year. We got two good running backs in our building, right? Who we drafted. Why not let them tag team? Why not let them, both of them you get 50, you get 50. Like if they don't have no ego and they don't have no problem with it, then we good with it too. We kind of saving our workhorses. And once we get to these important games, whoever told him to rock the best, that's the guy who we gonna let spin. So
but he never
it just so happened he got hurt and you had to lean on Kenneth Walker. He showed you what he can do if you leaned on him for the whole game.
But he never beat him out. It's not like he was getting, 50% of the snaps, sharing it the weight, and being like, no, that's the better running back. It was only until he got hurt that he got the snaps. It wasn't like he beat him out because he was a better running back.
Yeah, they were.
But it wasn't a battle. It wasn't a battle to beat him out. It was a monster.
That's fair.
Yeah, my thing was
I don't think they was battling to see who win the competition.
They were trying to get Charbonnet involved. I mean, they were trying to get him involved early. It definitely hit Kenneth Walker's fantasy numbers, but they were trying to get Charbonnet. They wanted an every down guy. They wanted a third down guy, and they were a 1-2 punch until Charbonnet went out and Kenneth Walker balled out. But I think during the Super Bowl, they were showing, he's not great in pass protection and he's not great catching the ball out of the backfield, and that's a big deal.
The big deal, two big deals. Yeah.
Well, let's stay on the Seattle conversation then, because who's going to get paid is going to be JSN, because this man, obviously offensive player of the year, Super Bowl winning now, star receiver, probably arguably the best receiver of this season, very arguably, but I would say from his numbers. So he is now eligible to negotiate in a contract extension. And this is what he had to say about it. Okay. So I'm really not too pressed right now to get it done. I know my time is coming, and when I get it done, it's going to be a great deal. God's timing is perfect timing. So whenever that may come, I believe I deserve to be the highest paid in my position. I would play this game for free. I love this game so much, but you don't have to. I'm learning to be a good businessman, and we need that check at the end of the day. So the part that was highlighted, I believe I deserve to be the highest paid in my position. So keep the Seahawks make JSN the highest paid receiver in the league.
Hey, they better. They better. If they know like I know, they better, man, because you don't want a guy like him to have a chance to sniff free agency and feel disrespected, because you will get outbidded. Somebody will come outbid you. So play the game right, man. You draft a guy, he don't cause problems, he work hard, he ball for you, you pay him. It's just simple as that. So, I mean, you look at his numbers. He came in the league 604 touchdowns, 1,106 touchdowns, 1,710 touchdowns. So every year he's getting better and better. He's not showing you any reason not to pay him, man. He's one of the top guys in the league. He earned it. He earned it, man. So they like him in Seattle. They know what they're doing. That's why they got rid of DK. They cleared some room. They opened up everything to make him the guy. So they'll do right by him, and they'll pay him. So he don't have nothing to worry about. He going about it the right way, man. I ain't pressed on it right now, but when it happen, I know what's gonna happen. I know what I earned. So I think he went about it the right way. Hopefully Seattle goes about it the right way, because guys feel disrespected if you don't. If they didn't pay him this year and they made it all the way to free agency, then they franchise tagged them and made them like stuff like that, make you feel disrespected. They got the money to do it. They got a bunch of cap room over there. They got the money to do it. Do it, and just do it right now.
Yeah. I agree. He's handling it the right way. That quote right there is perfect. Like, hey, I play this game for free, but that's not how this works. And you know, the big thing up there in Seattle is that organization's about to sell between $9 and $11 billion. You're going to have a new owner coming in. He's investing billions of dollars. I think he will happily hand over a big contract to JSN, because not only has he proved it, but like Lieb said, you drafted him. Schneider drafted him. He came in. He's gotten better and better. Now they got their quarterback in Sam Darnold. Lock down one of his weapons. And if you're the Seattle Seahawks, get it done now. Get it done now when what's the number at 40, 45 million? Get it done now before that number goes to 55 million. Lock him up now, get creative with it, give him all his bread, because that's the guy you got to pay, right? That's the guy that you pay in the organization. He's done everything right. We drafted him. And that helps everybody else in the organization, because it's like, hey, I got drafted. They take care of their own. I'm gonna work hard to earn this next contract. So yeah, someone's gonna come in and write a fat check for that organization, and I think they'll happily hand out a big check to JSN as their second check.
Yeah. So Aqib, I know you've made a strong case that Ja'Marr Chase is the best receiver in football, and yet when I look at what this kid did for that team in Seattle that did win the chip, it's just extraordinary. Like he had a Jerry Rice kind of year, one of the great years any receiver ever has had, given the fact that his quarterback was Sam Darnold, and there wasn't a clear-cut second best receiver. Even though Cooper Kupp used to be, Cooper Kupp wasn't any longer Cooper Kupp. And they did go get Raheed Shaheed at the deadline, but he did nothing. He contributed relatively nothing as a receiver, just as a kick returner. So I look at what JSN did. He had 1,793 receiving yards. It tripled the next guy on the list, who was Barnard, the tight end. It tripled the second best receiver in just pure receiving yards on the whole roster. Well, that's ridiculous. It's hard to do because, you make the case CD gets help from Pickens. Well, I don't know that JSN got a whole lot of help from Cooper Kupp or Shaheed or Barner or whoever else you want to throw in the mix, because they're doubling him. They're
Run game.
What's that? Go ahead.
No, they're not. No, they're not. He get help from the run game. He get help from the scheme. He get help from that Shanahan scheme. You know,
All right,
he get help from a bunch of crossing routes. So he get his help too.
Okay. All right. So you're saying Clint Kubiak made JSN. I don't know. You still got to get open.
Nope.
And I kept watching, and he's not the fastest guy time-wise, but he plays fast. He's slippery. And I kept saying he's like a shapeshifter. He just suddenly materializes open, like suddenly now you see him, now you don't. Oh, he's open again.
Yeah.
And nobody could stop him the whole year. And Jamar Chase had a career year in receiving yards. It was 1,708 yards. And JSN had 1,793. And Jamar Chase does get some help from a number 2 receiver who made the Pro Bowl this year in T. Higgins. So
and he's got Joe Burrow throwing the rock.
yeah, and Joe Burrow's throwing him the ball, even though Joe wasn't healthy for a good chunk of the year, but Joe Flacco was.
Yeah.
And the point is that JSN made $3.5 million last year to do that. And so, man, he took a beating, like for his market value. It was a joke what Seattle got him for last year. And now I'm with you. You guys, Jamar makes 40, 45, whatever it is, he earned it. And I think because he's proven to be such a good kid, he's going to keep earning it. I think he'll just get better. He's 2 years younger than Jamar Chase is. So, man, I would lock him up and lock him down, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Going back to Cooper Kupp, I don't think he's putting up much
easy.
Going back to Cooper Kupp, I don't think he's putting up much in the stats, but I think there's 2 big issues at play. He's a great mentor for JSN.
Yeah.
He's been in that West Coast system. He's come from McVay. He's seen everything. Yeah. So he's a great mentor for JSN. And a lot of those routes where JSN's getting open, you see Cooper Kupp. He's holding the defense. He's running the decoy routes. He knows exactly where he needs to be to free up JSN. So Kupp might not be putting up the numbers, but he has a huge impact on JSN and his success. And yeah, like I said before, go and get the deal done now. Get the deal done now when it's $45 million, not when it's 50, 56.
Yeah.
Like Akeem said before, then you got to play the franchise tag game. Then you got to go through all these semantics to get the guy paid when, hey, you drafted him. It all worked out. Back the Brinks truck up to his house. Just keep throwing money at him until he says yes.
So no argument there. Everybody's on board.
Hey, and then Skip.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody get a little help. You know what I'm saying? So if you play in that Shanahan system, it's going to be the run game that help you, because it's hard to play man versus all those tight splits and all those motions. It's tough to play man against it. So you get to just run through zones all day. Everybody don't run that offense. Somebody like Jamar and them, they get man coverage, but he got T over there. So, you got to figure out how you want to deal with both of those guys. But I think the difference between Jamar 1,700 and JSN 1,700 season, Jamar has 17 touchdowns. Like, it ain't even close.
All right.
Yeah, with Joe
doubled his touchdowns. Ain't even close.
Okay, but your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, ranked Puka number 1 from the regular season this past year. JSN was number 2, and Jamar was 4th on the list. So they think that JSN
Jamar ain't have his quarterback. Jamar quarterback missed the whole year.
Yeah.
And he still came out with 1,408 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean, though. Like, a big bulk of the year. He still came out with 1,408 touchdowns with Flacco and whoever else throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when Jay Browning was in, that was 3 games. That was absolutely nothing for your stats. I mean, that's difficult for anybody.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Keith, you definitely think that Jamar Chase is better than JSN?
Yeah, Jamar Chase the one, man. He the one.
I
Numero
agree with
uno.
that. I'd agree. Jamar Chase is my number one too. You're talking about speed, talent, athleticism. I think he's the number one right now because he's doing it. He's doing it with nobody. Burrow was in there a couple games. Browning, Flacco. But as soon as Flacco got to that offense, he knew where to go with the ball. Just throw that ball outside to Jamar.
Yeah. And even Flacco was on record saying, he's like, I mean, how many years has Flacco played in the NFL? He said he's never thrown the ball to someone like that.
Yeah.
He was like, it was just not even a question. And that's why he would just and be like, I don't care the play. We're going to Jamar.
Yeah. Okay. But Aqib, isn't Zach Taylor?
If you put him in Puka's spot, he is, but his is not quite the same offense. I'm telling you, they're not as much outside zone as he is off the McVay tree, but it's not quite the same. He got his own. He pass it, spread pass a lot more than McVay and those guys do. It's a little bit different. But if you put Jamar in and Sean offense or Kubiak offense, he'll score 20 touchdowns. He might be the first. He'll score 2,020 touchdowns. He will go crazy running through zones like that.
I agree. You pair up Jamar with McVay and a number two like Javonte or T. Higgins or anybody, he is going to light it up. I mean, he is a special player. He is a dynamic playmaker.
So Skip, rank your top 5 receivers right now.
CeeDee Lamb is number 1.
Okay.
Jamar Chase is number 2.
Okay.
I'll give you a slight edge over JSN 3. I'll go Puka 4 and Pickens 5.
And why do you still have CD first?
Because I saw him for 3 years dominate this league. He's run after catch. He's everything we saw Puka do this year. That was CeeDee Lamb for 3 straight years.
Okay.
Yeah, so I agree with that. It's either CD or Jamar at the top. I like Jamar. I prefer Jamar. And then, I think what Puka did this last season was unbelievable. Watch that whole body of work. And he's a Swiss Army knife, man. He does everything. He catches screens at the line of scrimmage. He lines up tight, makes tough catches over the middle, line them up out wide. They're giving them reverses, the handoffs in the backfield. I think Puka had a tremendous year. But then you look at CD and you look at Jamar. They're just athletically on a completely different level.
Yeah.
And so for you guys, Justin Jefferson, not even on the list anymore because of
I mean, from a talent standpoint, JJ's up there. JJ's always got to be in the top 5 discussion. He just got nobody to get him the ball.
Yeah, tough. Okay, so the boys are in agreement, though, that you should pay JSN fat and quick. But Jamar Chase, they still would choose over JSN. So JSN, though, is young, 2 years younger. We'll see where he goes with his career. Now let's get into a little bit of drama because the NFL's always got a ton of drama. So Ravens wide receiver Rashad Bateman, he released a statement saying that his account was hacked after a series of IG stories posting criticism about the team. So I'm going to read these to you. One was about Lamar Jackson. So he said, "Stop pointing the finger at us and number 8. Blame the one you let do this. We take the heat 24/7. Tired of y'all lying and capping on players for no reason." I don't know who's hacking your account and saying
that's not a hack. That comes straight from a player's mouth. That is not a hack. That I've had those same feelings before too. There is no way. I love how in this day and age we could just say, "Oh, that was a hack." No. You hit a nerve. You were on the players. Yeah.
This is his official statement. He's like, "My apologies for the confusion. My account was hacked by someone I know. Lame. Although I do agree with some of it. Y'all know me. I don't got the time for that. I was putting up baby strollers all day when I got this news." So yeah, he did say he agrees with some of it. I think he's like trying to backtrack and got stuck in it. Richie, hacked or not, how wrong is this?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of me and Aqib talked about this earlier in the season about how important OTAs are for your franchise quarterback, right? They go up to Buffalo 2 seasons ago and they miss on a play to Andrews in the flat. The timing's off by just a half a second. And when you're installing a new offense every year, it is important to get the franchise quarterback there because the offense is installed in 3 phases. You go through it in the first part in the spring, you reinstall everything fresh in minicamp, and then in training camp, that's your 3rd time around of installing this offense. So when the franchise quarterback isn't there in the spring at minicamp, and then they don't have success during the season, it's pretty easy to trace it back to, hey, for me, hey, maybe Lamar should be there. But with Declan Doyle coming in and him saying this and him calling out Lamar, probably not the best time and place to call out your franchise two-time MVP quarterback in your opening press conference, right? Probably best to kick that can down the road, have that conversation face-to-face with Lamar before going to the press. And now, you got Bateman jumping on it. He's sticking up for his boy Lamar. They take a lot of heat there. They take a lot of heat. And I think what I've read is, Lamar and them are feeling that Todd Monken wasn't the best for them. There was a lot of beef there between Lamar and Monken, and, Harbaugh bringing Monken back really pissed off Bisciotti, and he said, okay, we need to make a change. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. I'd love to see Lamar with the new head coach, with the new offense. You got to be there for spring ball. If you're an offensive lineman, or you're a wide receiver, or if you're a corner, and you're a great player, you can get away with missing the spring. But when you're the franchise guy, we need you in the huddle. We're depending on your snap count. We're depending on your pre-snap reads. We're depending on you to get everybody lined up. So I don't think Coyle was wrong in calling him out. I just think it was the complete wrong for him to do it. Now Bateman's backing it up, and I do not buy he was hacked, because he struck a nerve. That sounds to me like it was coming right from a player.
Hell nah. He 100% was hacked. Like, that's what the hackers do. They hack your account and they try their best to make it sound like it comes from you. Like, that's the whole point of hacking. You wouldn't hack somebody's account and completely make it sound like a different person. You got to make it sound like it came from that person. Like Bateman is just not in a position in his career to say nothing about any of this. He's one of the guys who just got paid.
He just got paid, so he's under contract. He got paid a shit ton of money, and now he's like, that to me, it sounds like that's something that it sounds like it's coming from a player.
Okay, so Aqib, are you saying
that's the whole point of it, Richie?
Okay, you're saying he did get hacked?
Yeah, he for sure got hacked.
Really?
100% it was a hack.
He said
I don't know. That hit a little too close to home. That hit a little too close to home. Don't be blaming us. Don't be blaming Lamar. Don't be blaming. Yeah. Sounds like a player.
I mean, that's the whole goal of it. That's the whole point of hacking somebody's account. I'm gonna tweet out some bullshit to make it sound just like he said it. Like, that's how it goes. I mean, that's the whole point of it, man. His stats don't say get on here and
nothing,
say anything. So
he hasn't even had a.
He's not Zay. He's not Roquan. He's not Humphrey. He's just not in. He's not Lamar. He's not in a position. He's not Andrews. Those are the guys who would get on somewhere and type or tweet and defend Lamar. But like, he's just not in a position to do it. So I mean, I don't want to shit on him because I know he ain't do it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a hack. It for sure was a hack. So it is what it is. He ain't said it was a hack 100%.
Even though Rashad said when he sort of quote unquote apologized, he said, I agree with some of what the hacker posted, right? So why would you even do that? What?
Yeah.
Because
why even give him the satisfaction? No, I didn't write that, but it sounds pretty good. Because it's thinking it. I didn't type it, but I was thinking it.
I ain't say that shit. I ain't say that shit, but I agree with a little bit of it, but I ain't say it. You know what I'm saying? That way ain't come from me. So he got a good sense of humor, Skip. He just wanted to be funny a little bit, make the best out of it. He ain't do it.
Okay. So to Richie's point, just before last season, Rashad Bateman got extended by the Ravens because he'd had a pretty good year the year before. And they gave him 3 more years at $37 million with $20 million guaranteed. So he got paid. And then he didn't have a terrible year last year. He was okay. They obviously had a bad year. And there was Okay, so if you look at the timeline, Harbaugh got fired
What a terrible year.
Yeah, but Harbaugh got fired on, let's see, January 6th, he was fired. But then all of this alleged hacking took place during the NFC Championship game when Rashad, or the hacker, went on this extended rant that went on for the whole NFC Championship game, just bam, 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 post after post after post. And Jesse Minter had been hired on the 22nd, so that was the 25th. So it was 3 days after Minter got hired to be the new head coach. Declan Doyle had not yet been hired. So there are a lot of statements like, all an MF needs is an opportunity, that sounded like he was just complaining about his usage or lack thereof. And he was blaming Eric DaCosta for not, as the GM, pushing the offense to play to Rashad Bateman's strengths. Well, to Richie's point, it sounded a whole lot like Rashad Bateman. It sounded like this is exactly what he would be complaining about publicly. And then he said, well, all the time that the hacker was, quote unquote, allegedly hacking, that he was busy putting together baby strollers. Like he said, I was distracted, so I couldn't focus on what I was tweeting. Well, wait, you said you were hacked. And it sounded like he was saying, well, no, I was actually distracted because I was having to put baby strollers together. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not adding up. It doesn't add up.
No, Skip, he said when he was putting together baby strollers, I wasn't even on my phone. That's what he's saying. He's not saying he was distracted. Skip, if you average 400 yards a year and 3 touchdowns, you're not doing this, Skip. That's just not, that comes from a guy like Andrews who want to, let me say some shit. That comes from higher ranked guys, Skip. So I mean,
that's what I was
Bateman just not gonna do nothing like this.
I was looking into it this morning, and I saw the numbers.
Not in position to do.
Yeah, like those numbers, you can't do big talking with those numbers. But it does sound like it does sound like it struck a nerve.
Nah, he won't.
Talk about Baltimore struggles. Offensive line. It's offensive line up front. They got a big giant 6'8" guy in Daniel Failele, and he can't play tackle. They try and hide him inside at guard. He can't block anybody. He's a turnstile. They got Linderbaum, who's up on a contract. He's probably going to go get paid.
He's going to go.
A ton of money somewhere. Raiders, if you're listening, go ahead and write him a check. We need him. And but yeah, the Baltimore Ravens, it's one of those things where we were picking them to win the AFC coming in. We thought Baltimore's bigger, stronger. They're more physical. You got Lamar. I was on it. You were on Denver. I mean, obviously.
I told you what was going to happen with them Ravens.
Yeah, you've been saying that since.
But I told you what was going to happen with the Ravens. Besides Denver, I told you exactly where the Ravens was going to be when playoff time come. I told you that from the first day. We did a practice episode, Skip, and I told you from on that episode what was going to happen with the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, Lee, you're high on Minter. You think Minter will do well in Baltimore?
Yeah, I think he'll come clean the defense up tremendously. But the only thing that's going to clean Baltimore up is Lamar. It's his show. It's a vibe, man. They got all the guys. They got the pieces. Now they got the D coordinator. It's a vibe, man. This Super Bowl shit is a vibe.
Yeah.
And it all starts at the top. And everybody got to buy in, especially the franchise player. So Lamar going to determine what the Ravens do, man. It's very simple. And I know it just sounds like, all right, so he come to OTAs, they just automatically go to the chip. I'm telling you, watch.
Yeah.
Because you the camaraderie that you build when you go to work when you go to work and you go to work at 8 and get off at 11:30, you're not in your home city. So all you do is hang out with the guys all day. We get off at 11:30. I'm still with these boys till 4:35. We go out 3 of the nights of the week. We go eat dinners. It's like, man, you build that real camaraderie. The defense, we go play football and stuff. I don't go against Huntley or whatever. No, I play against Lamar all off season. That's going to sharpen me up as a corner. You know what I'm saying? It all ties in together. That's the only thing they missing, man. I'm say it again. The year Lamar go to OTAs for the full season, they're gonna be in a chip.
I agree. No, there's a lot of team building. There's a lot of camaraderie that goes on in the spring. I played in Buffalo, and there was nothing else going on. So we were hanging out. That's where you break bread and you figure out what motivates your brothers. You figure out what makes you tick. And from the offense, selfishly, you want Lamar there. There's so much pre-snap read, snap count, getting guys lined up. But for the defense too, for the defense coming out, now you got to guard Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Bateman. It's a completely different story with Tyler Huntley under center. That makes Lamar being the franchise guy makes everybody on that roster better.
Well, the whole AFC North better start bonding as a team. They better get all their teams together and start bonding because what we've been seeing from the AFC North is not the AFC North. So they need to start breaking bread, whatever you're saying. They need to get together.
And Kenzie, let me say before we leave this topic, I just still can't get it through my head that the Baltimore Ravens went out and hired a 34-year-old head coach who's never been a head coach, who then hired a 29-year-old offensive coordinator for Lamar freaking Jackson, a 29-year-old who never played football past high school and who has never called a play in his life. And he's now supposed to oversee the reemergence of Lamar Jackson. I just don't, and he came in hot with guns blaring, taking shots. I don't get it. And yet, Aqib, you said you liked it because
At a certain age he need to be, Skip.
I know. I don't think. I mean, we're going to talk about it in our next topic. But
is it a certain age he need to be?
Years old when he got the head coaching job.
Yeah, you just like to have somebody who has some cachet to their resume, cachet, where you say, well, I did that and I did that. I don't know what this kid did, but he came in like he's done a lot. And he said, I want everybody at OTAs. And he critiqued Lamar's performance last year, saying that he should have stuck with the play call longer than he did. And that's something you could talk to him about.
You know what he did? Skip?
What's that?
You know what he did, Skip? He went into an interview, right? And they asked him, how the fuck do Ben Johnson run the ball so good? And he said, well, we do this. We come here, we get their signs, this is how we do it. We do this, we yeah, I definitely could do that here. We got the makeup to do this, and they was like this. We hiring, bro. He know what the fuck he talking about. So that's what he did. It don't matter if you're 30, it don't matter if you're 70. If you crush the interview and you tell them your plan and they say, I like that fucking plan, you get the job. It ain't no age on it. There's no age on it, man. And that's already been proven with Sean McVay, with Shanahan, with McDonald. So many people already proved it don't fucking matter how old you are.
Yeah. And they got, I think they have all the pieces in place on offense. They just got to get that offensive line going. You look at Ben Johnson, Chicago. They went out, they got Tooney, they got a bunch of guys. They got a bunch of guys to come in and block. You look at the offensive line that they drafted in Detroit, Decker, Penei Sewell. They have a bunch of great players. Baltimore needs to heavily reinvest in this offensive line and get this thing figured out. Now you have Linderbaum, your best offensive lineman, leaving in free agency because they're probably not going to be able to match the offer. Yeah, I think Doyle's got a great plan to come in and run the ball. Now you need the horses up front to execute on that game plan.
Yeah,
I don't know. Because
they talking about extending Lamar and doing something with his contract, so that's going to open up some cash.
Yeah, they will. But Tyler Linderbaum is in the position A of the whole free agency because there's nobody like him on the whole market. So it's the opposite of what you were describing, Aqib, about the year all these corners are on the market, or this year with the running back market flooded with pretty good backs. There's nobody like Tyler Linderbaum out there. All of a sudden, just like he is the grand prize, solo grand prize of the whole marketplace. and somebody is going to pay him a ton of money. And I'll be surprised if Baltimore can retain him, because I don't think they will.
No. Well, you talk about timing in the running back market and the cornerback market and how it's cyclical and this, that. Tyler Linderbaum is hitting the market at the right time, because if you look at free agency, there's not a lot of great guys. You have McGovern, you have Edwards coming off the Buffalo Bills offensive line. You got my boy Jermaine, the right tackle from the New York Giants. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Then you have a bunch of journeymen that are going to get 1-2 year deals. And then you look forward to the NFL draft. I've been talking to a lot of people, and they're saying this is not a year to go get offensive linemen. So timing couldn't be better for Linderbaum. He is going to be the highest paid center, maybe obviously in the NFL, but someone is lining up to give him a bag, and Baltimore has no shot of matching it because they have so many other high salaries.
Yeah. So, Aqib, do you see?
I mean, but they middle of the pack right now with their cap space.
Yeah. So, do you see Baltimore as a contender next year, like a Super Bowl contender? Because I don't. It just doesn't feel right to me.
I'll be able to tell you that once OTAs start. If we see on that ticker that say Lamar Jackson is not present, then no. If we see Lamar there, then I'll be high on him. And I think they're going to have a shot, man. It's a lot of talks about them trying to do something with Lamar contract, right?
Yeah.
They already got about 20, 25 million cap space. They could open more up by doing something with Lamar contract, find one more guy who they can restructure, and bam, like that, they could be in the Lindenbaugh conversation as well. So it's always ways to clear money in the National Football League, man. These guys do it all the time, man. So I think he got a better chance of staying in Baltimore than we think.
Well, yeah, Skip's all worried about the young head coach, I think.
Yeah.
I think he'll get the defense right. They got to get some bodies over there. They got to upgrade that unit and get some people. But I think they'll get the defense right. It's going to be all eyes on that offense now.
Yeah.
Upgrade the offensive line, sign Linderbaum, try to sign Linderbaum. You got the guys on the outside. You got Zay and Bateman. You got Derrick Henry. You got King Henry. You just got to scheme up. You got to, if they're not able to upgrade that offensive line, they're able to get just some guys up front. Now it all comes down to scheme. How are you going to get Derrick Henry in the open field, downhill as fast as possible? I think the defense will be better, though. I think the defense, they should be better. Look at the Chargers. The Chargers don't have a ton of top end talent outside Khalil Mack, and those guys were flying around making plays. So I think the defense will be better. I really do think all eyes on Lamar, all eyes on the offense. Can they put up points? Can they find rhythm? And can the defense get stops?
All right, well, let's move on.
I think the defense would be a lot better. And I've been a part of a young head coach, man. I had Raheem Morris come in as a 30-something-year-old, very young head coach. Shit, we won 10 games our first year, tied for third. We ain't make the playoffs, but it was 10. It was 3 teams in the NFC South that was 10-6. So he came in, whoops, had us lit on fire, man. We used to say young and hungry. We used to have Yongry. He used to give out Yongry T-shirts and hats on after the game days. Like, he just had the energy super high in the building. Everybody bought in. So it worked. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, it ain't no age on this, Skip.
Yeah, we're in the era
That's all I'm saying.
Coaches and successful. I mean, we're going to talk about Sean McVay now, because every single primary offensive coordinator hired under Sean McVay has now gotten an NFL head coaching job. That's insane. We got both of the four brothers. We've got Kevin O'Connell, Liam Cohen. So Sean McVay got hired at 30 years old as a head coach. So age is just a number. But okay, now we got Nate Scheelhaase. He is now going to be promoted to the Rams offensive coordinator. So my question for you guys, I'm going to start with you, Skip, is do you expect him to be a head coach in the next cycle? Is this going to continue?
I expect Nate Scheelhaase and Dave Ragone, who are now co-offensive coordinators for the Rams, to both be head coaches when people start getting fired the day after the season ends next year. It's just like an assembly line of Sean McVay's, and Aqib would be working on the assembly line because he believes in it and believes in all these guys. And that makes now 7 McVay assistants who have become head coaches. You got the 2 LaFleurs, obviously Mike just went to Arizona. I mentioned Zach Taylor, obviously in Cincinnati, Kevin O'Connell. Akib just mentioned Raheem. Liam Cohen, obviously in Jacksonville. And we got to include Jed Fish, who did leave the staff to become the head coach at Arizona and is now the head coach, obviously, University of Washington. So it's just like automatic that whoever gets raised to coordinator under Sean McVay, this league that practices sheepthink, they all think the same. Oh, we got to get one of those. So we got to get one of those. I was just hoping that Nate Scheelhaase would be one of those a year early, because I wanted him to be a Cleveland Browns head coach. I wanted him and Shedeur to grow together in Cleveland. And what got me was that the whole Cleveland Browns team, starting with the owner, Jimmy Haslam, his wife, all the general managers level, all those people went. They flew in the plane, Jimmy Haslam's plane, out here to LA, and they spent, I think it was like 7 hours on a Monday with Nate Scheelhaase interviewing him. And it seemed like it went so long that it was going well. And then the next thing I know, I think it was the next day, they shocked the world because they suddenly go out and hire Todd Monken out of the blue. They say, well, no, we opt from the 35-year-old Nate Scheelhaase to the 60-year-old Todd Monken, who obviously has been a longtime coordinator and did coordinate the 2 national championship teams at Georgia. And he was, once upon a time, was Todd Monken, a head coach at Southern Miss for 3 years. So I give him, he's got some background as a head coach. And yet it was just exciting to me, as to quote the great Aqib Talib, age doesn't matter. So at 35, I thought Nate Scheelhaase had done enough. He was the offensive coordinator when Brock Purdy was at Iowa State. He was there with Brock Purdy, and he had apprenticed, obviously, to me, long enough under Sean McVay. He'd been in all those meetings, and I just thought it was a home run hire for a still young, building Cleveland team to start with Nate Scheelhaase. And yeah, he'll get a head job next year, but I'm going to doubt it's going to be the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur. So I was stunned and disappointed that Nate Scheelhaase didn't get his first head coaching job this past cycle.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a lot of interest around him. I thought he would get a job. It was a little, does he have enough experience? Can he take over as a head man? I think that was a lot of questions teams were asking, but he's next in the pipeline. All those guys you named, Liam Cohen, LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, these are all some of the best offensive minds we have in football. And me and Aqib, we've talked a lot about McVay and Shanahan. Yeah. I played in that system under Gruden. Kubiak is bringing that system in. And we know you can do damage with that system, that outside zone system, that creative, it's quote unquote West Coast, but that's what he's bringing in. And McVay has had such success hiring from his coaching staff that he's the next man up. It's literally, they don't reload or they don't rebuild, they just reload. And so he is a bright young offensive mind. He has a really big future. And I would have loved that for Cleveland. I don't get the Todd Monken hire there. Monken was the reason why Harbaugh is out in Baltimore. So I don't like it. I would have loved, we've been talking about getting a young, hungry, bright offensive mind around Shedeur and really developing him. But yeah, he's definitely next in line for a head coach job. And I think he'll have success.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. He will definitely be a head coach next year. As long as the Rams come out and do what they did last year, the number one offense, number one scoring offense, he's going to be the number one prospect on the list. You know what I'm saying? So they like his energy. He had some good motion this offseason, man, a bunch of interviews, 2 with the Browns, the Bills, the Raiders, the Steelers, the Ravens. Like, he interviewing with everybody. So I'm sure he learned from that interview process. Yeah. He know how to go into these meetings now. And long as the product is there, man, he's gonna have all kind of motion again this year, man. When you the offensive coordinator of the hottest system in the league, hey, the story tells itself, man. They want to run what Sean McVay is running, what Kyle Shanahan is running. That's what everybody want to run. It's the hottest offense in football right now. So why wouldn't you want to run that? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get Cleveland not picking him up anyway, but I do get Cleveland hiring Monken because Monken wasn't a bad offensive coordinator for the Ravens. He did good things for the Ravens. Their offense was very productive. And also on top of that, Cleveland was trying to find a guy who believed in Shador. And that's what they found. Todd Monken believed in Shador. Well, let's get him in this building. That's what Cleveland did. So, hey, I definitely get that hire. But Scheelhaase most definitely will be a head coach in the league next year. I'm curious to see who he'll be coaching for.
Yeah. And you make a great point, Akib, like him in the hiring process, him going through this, him interviewing for these jobs. Like we heard Cleveland was giving people aptitude tests and stuff like that, but him going around and getting the experience of being in these interviews, giving these guys a rundown, selling them on the vision, like, hey, what's the schedule going to be like in the third phase of OTAs? These are all the things that now he has the experience through all these interviews. Now he can go back, he could take a season, not only have a dominant year with the Rams again, but also craft his vision, craft his pitch, craft his, what he wants to make of an NFL team.
How much weight do you guys put on an offensive coordinator when they don't call the plays? Of course you have Sean McVay, and of course he has a new offensive coordinator every single time. How much of it is just Sean McVay and it's his system? They keep getting head coaching jobs and just the hopes that it's going to rub off on them.
Well, I mean, you look at the success.
Yeah, I don't put a lot on that because you know Sean is gonna call the plays.
Yeah.
You know Sean gonna call the plays. But if you're there with him, you under his wing. If you're the offensive coordinator, you working hand in hand with him. You learning how he call the plays. He probably bouncing questions off you, asking you to do certain things, and that's helping him. And then you see all the guys he's putting out. If they was the offensive coordinator, now they're going to be the head coach. He's successful. He's successful. He's successful. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, shit. He's doing something. He's tutoring these guys. He's doing something. He's developing these guys so they know how to call the plays. They see his flow. I say it all the time, man. You give me a DB and let me train him. And he's an NFL body already. Give me a 6 feet corner who run a 4.4. And you let me train him and let me watch film with him and let me just tutor him for a whole season. I promise you he's going to be good because I'm going to teach him the right way to watch film, the right way to take your notes, what to look at, how to play this scheme. I'm going to teach you this. And he's going to be a good player. So Sean McVay feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, and them leaning on Sean or them learning from Sean McVay is priceless because they are working hand in hand. And Sean is obviously doing a good job getting these guys ready to be a head man. Liam Cohen, he went in there and in 1 year, he completely reshaped the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kevin O'Connell, he is one of the brightest offensive minds in football. You know, he's a quarterback whisperer. He's the guy that developed. So for them to sit there and come up with game plans with Sean McVay and listen to how he would attack these defenses. Okay, you're going to give us this look. This is how we're going to attack it. These are the top plays that I like. It's really these guys just kind of coming into their own and crafting their vision on how they would run it. So I don't put much – I won't knock a guy down saying, oh, he didn't call plays because, listen, they are getting tutelage from the best guy in the business right now and the track record. You look at the track record. These guys are coming out. They're having success. They're really reshaping programs, and they never called plays under Sean.
Akib, I got one question that I need you to answer. How do you figure Todd Monken is a big fan of Shador's? Because I don't know that.
It's in the pudding, man. They all said we're not drafting. You can't hold the Ravens. You just can't just put it on the Ravens. I know you're gonna say they only picked them in the 5th round. They wanted to pick them in the 5th round. That's because all the owners around the league said, bro, we're gonna put our foot down. We're not drafting this guy before a certain round. Whenever they could draft him, the Ravens was one of the teams on the phone like, hey, come over here. We got a great plan for you. You could do this. So when he interviewed for Cleveland, I'm sure he said, bro, I love Shador. He probably told him how he really felt about him. And you could see he wanted to tell Shador how he really felt about him because he said, "Hey, we was gonna draft you in Baltimore, and I'm gonna talk to you about that off this camera." It was something there that he wanted to tell him. So that's just the vibes that I get, man. He really likes Shedeur, and Monken is one of those OCs, man, where he tailored the offense to the guy. He probably like, bro, I could tailor this offense to you so good, Shedeur. And it just looked like it's in the pudding to me, to answer your question, Skip.
I hope you're right, but it felt a little bit like Monken was blowing a little smoke for the camera when he first met Shedeur, because he knew it was on camera. We wanted to pick your ass, or whatever he said, like we were sitting on you. Well, again, to be clear about it, Ozzie Newsome called Deion Sanders, and it was if memory serves, it was just 2 picks before the Cleveland pick that they took him with. And Ozzie said to Deion, "We want to draft your son. Is it okay?" And Deion said, "Well, he doesn't really want to go to Baltimore because he doesn't want to get stuck behind Lamar, because he figures Lamar is going to be there for a long, long time at a high level." So he said, "No, we don't want to go there." And Ozzie said, "Okay, I get it." And they didn't take him. But that was in the 5th round. So I don't know that Todd Monken was standing on the table in the draft room trying to stump for getting Shedeur to be drafted by the Ravens.
He the OC. Well, he the OC, Skip. You can't do too much. You can't do too. It's gonna be the owners, it's the GMs, and then the head coach. You the OC, bro. Your word only gonna go so far. And how that story really went, it was they called Deion. Deion gave the phone to Shedeur and let him. Hey, ask him. You talk to Shedeur. Shedeur made that decision on his own. He ain't want to be the backup. You know what I'm saying? Deion ain't make the decision for Shedeur. He made it on his own. Like, man, I feel like I could be a starter somewhere. I feel like if I go somewhere and they don't got a starter like Lamar, I could possibly beat somebody out. You know what I'm saying? So if Monken did love the hell out of Shedeur, his word only gonna go so far because he's only the OC.
Yeah, but if you loved him, you just fight for him. And Ozzie is gutsy enough and independent enough that he would have, he was the one who picked Lamar at the end of the 1st round. And when nobody else, a lot of teams thought he was a receiver. And so if Monken had gone to Ozzie and said, we got to take this kid, they would have taken him in the 2nd round or the 3rd round when that would have made sense, because
why though, Skip? Why would you do that if it's not Lamar?
Okay.
Why would you do that? Why would you take him in the 2nd or the 3rd round when you got Lamar, you got Huntley on the roster? Like, why would I waste a 2nd or a 3rd round pick on Shedeur then? Like, I just don't see the logic in it. For them even taking him in the 5th round, saying, "Hey, we can get you in the 5th round," that showed me that they thought highly of you because they already got a backup quarterback and a starting quarterback, and they still trying to take you with a 5th round pick. So that alone tells me that Monken was like, "Hey, it's something in this dude. I'm telling you, just in case Lamar get banged up, it's something in this guy. We want to have him in our building for the future." So that's what that showed me right there.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't trust this, but I hope you're right. I just, man, if you're still waiting, you're trying to say there was a memo that circulated that you can't touch this kid until the 5th round. Is that how you thought the NFL played it?
Clear as day. There's no way he was a 5th round. There's no way he did what he did in college. And the Mel Kipers, the McShays, everybody got him as the 1 or the 2.
They did.
Everybody in the world think he going 1st round, right? Except for the owner. The NFL is the only people who like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Yeah. Like, what are we talking about? It's not even close to me. They didn't want Shedeur type guys. They don't want it to happen no more. If you a quarterback in this league and you a jewelry wearing hip hop type of guy, you better fake it till you get the bacon. I'm telling you. Fake it till you make it. I'm telling you that right now. Or they're gonna use your ass and they're gonna set an example with your ass.
Yeah, well, they did. And by the way, I had Shedeur going number 1 to Tennessee, and I still think Tennessee blew it. in taking Cam Ward over Shedeur. We'll see how that plays out. But I am with you. It was just hard for me to believe that they would punish Shedeur for 5 rounds, or, you know, all the way through 4. That's what tore me up. But I hope it's right. And let me finish on Nate Scheelhaase, that to your point, Akib, about how if you took a young corner, 6 feet tall, who could run 4.4, and you could teach him how to play corner, the one good thing about Nate Scheelhaase that I like over, let's say, Declan Doyle, is that Nate Scheelhaase was a really good quarterback at Illinois who started for all 4 years. He was a 4-year starter in college as a dual threat quarterback. And he still holds the Illinois all-time yardage record for total yards. He's number 1 in the history of Illinois football. Well, I value that as a teacher for Shedeur. At least he played the position at a pretty high level. He couldn't play in pro football, probably because he got stereotyped, as you were just talking about, that he was a running quarterback. And yet he has a command for how to play the position that I think he could have helped Shedeur with a lot, that I'm not sure Todd Monken has a feel for. Is Todd Monken, has he proven to be a good play caller? He has. So I respect that, and I would trust that going forward. But I hope he's all in on Shedeur. I guess pretty soon we're about to find out, because the proof will be in the snapping, who gets the snaps.
And I hope for the Browns, the future of the Browns, that they can work together, because we all want Shedeur to shine, because he's an absolute star. But that'll do it for another episode of the Arena Gridiron. We're going to be back on Friday, so tune in, you guys, 11:30 a.m. PST. Thank you so much. See you on Friday. Woo woo.
All right, way to go. Good job.